Alright, yes, I'm sure when you look at this microphone, you're thinking, great, here's yet another Røde VideoMic Pro ripoff. Also, Joby? Like, the GorillaPod people? Yes, that Joby. But don't count out the Joby Wavo Pro just yet. This on-camera shotgun microphone does have a few tricks up its sleeve. For instance, it's Bluetooth compatible, and you can actually change your settings for this microphone via the Joby Wavo app. In addition to that, you will also be able to use this as a USB microphone. This isn't necessarily a new thing. Some recent on-camera shotgun microphones can do this, like the VideoMic NTG. This also is capable of having a secondary microphone plugged into it, and it actually does split the stereo track into two mono tracks. For instance, channel 1 could be the left side and channel 2 would be the right side of that stereo track. In addition, you'll also get a Joby technology that is called active noise reduction, which makes it sound like it's a noise gate, and that it will block any noise aside from your voice. However, that's not the case. It's actually meant to get rid of handling noise when this microphone's on top of your camera. You'll also find that this gives you not only a foam windscreen, but also a Furry windscreen, aka a completely and totally absolutely healthy cat that is far from dead. With everything this offers, maybe this microphone will be the perfect balance between what the Røde VideoMic NTG gives you and the Røde VideoMic Pro Plus. And with this microphone being very similar to the Røde VideoMic Pro Plus, looks and capabilities aren't the only things that are similar, the price is also very similar. This microphone comes in around $300. Sometimes it does go on sale. I'll have some links down in the description with the best prices possible. I will also be doing a comparison in this video with some microphones that are similar to it. I'll put those up on the screen right now, and I will also include some shotgun microphones that are inexpensive versus some more expensive ones, as well as just some small diaphragm condensers in general. Now I currently have the Joby Wavo Pro plugged into the Zoom H1N. We'll test it with a camera here shortly. In the previous section I was using it as a USB microphone, and one quick note on that. You basically have to connect it up to your app and change the gain there when it's connected as a USB-C mic. Now when it comes to gain level and everything, there is one other thing to note. On the actual microphone, you do not have a gain knob. However, you do have a little button that gives you the option between plus 10 decibels and plus 20 decibels. The Pro Plus has a similar feature. It has a plus 20 decibel boost, but the Røde does also have a negative 10 pad. This doesn't have a pad on the microphone, but there is one available in the app. Now on the opposite side of the microphone, if you are going to use this with another microphone and have that stereo track turn into two channels, there is also that plus 10 and plus 20 decibel boost for that connection as well. Now just to test out that microphone extension, I'm going to be a little bit blasphemous and I'm going to plug in a Røde NTG into that and see how it does. So now you are hearing the Røde NTG plugged directly into the Joby Wavo Pro. I feel like Joby might not send me any more products after plugging in a Røde competitor microphone into their microphone. But I mean, we got to test it out somehow, right? When I first plugged in a microphone to the Joby Wavo Pro, I actually thought that it was just going to blend the microphones, but there is just some settings that you have to change in order to have these two split left and right, channel 1, channel 2. I'll plug in a different mic and tell you about it. Now, like some other features with this microphone, in order to get the stereo track to split into a left and right channel, you actually have to go into the Wavo app and then make sure that you select stereo and then split. And at that point, it actually gives you a chance to edit each individual channel with like some EQ and some different presets, which is actually a really cool feature. Now, before I test this microphone out in some more traditional ways, I'm just going to run through some basic tests that I usually do. We'll do some in-studio tests. This is somewhat treated room. We'll do an untreated room as well as outside, but currently I'm 3 feet away from the microphone and I'm getting closer to the microphone, and now I am right on top of the microphone. Here's how it sounds when I'm really close to it. Now, microphones like this are not meant to have plosives, so aggressive P sounds, shot right into them. It's not in their wheelhouse. I wouldn't recommend doing it. But let's try it. Plosive test with some pickled peanuts is pickled peanuts is. Now I'm going to turn to the side and aim my plosives past it. Plosive test with some pickled peanuts is definitely a lot better. Now, one thing that you can do in the Wavo Pro app is that you can add warmth, clarity, and presence. The only presets they have are for a male and female voice. You can save your own presets, which is really nice though. Here is the male voice preset, and you actually can go into an advanced mode where you can edit the EQ curves a little bit more specifically rather than just labeling it clarity and presence and warmth. And even though I technically identify as a male, I'm going to go ahead and turn the female voice one on. Now this is the female voice setting, and actually I'm going to do one better. I'm going to go get my wife, make her talk into this microphone.
This is the Joby Wavo Pro with a female voice. And here is the female voice setting in the Wavo app.
Now I'm going to go ahead and add some warmth to this microphone, see how that sounds. This is the warmest you can make this microphone. And now I'm going to try adding some clarity. This is with the clarity turned all the way up. And in the app, the clarity are actually the mids. So I'm actually going to turn these down. So now I have the clarity or the mids set to -3 decibels. And now we're going to turn the presence up and see how that sounds. This is plus 12 decibels of presence, and this does not sound good. Now this is plus 3 decibels of presence, which feels a little bit better. And they do have a low cut option in the app as well. This is with the low cut filter enabled, but I did just want to do a quick back and forth of how this microphone sounds with no protection on versus with the foam windscreen on and then with the completely alive cat. Here's how it sounds with no foam windscreen on it or completely alive cat. Now we have the foam windscreen on. Once again, I'm a foot away from the microphone. Here's how that sounds. And now we're getting out of that lifestyle of being completely risky. Now we got all the protection on. Here's how that sounds. Usually furry windscreens like this do kill a little bit of the tone of the microphone, but they definitely help in windy situations. Now here is a quick vlog style test for the Joby Wavo Pro, just outside without active noise reduction on. Sadly, there's not really any wind, which I guess wouldn't be sad for most people, but I kind of wanted to test the wind rejection. But there is like a road close by. You can definitely hear some car noise, so see if it rejects that. But now I'm going to enable active noise reduction, and we'll see how that sounds. Now active noise reduction is enabled. I don't think I was making a whole lot of camera noise or anything, but we'll see if it helps. I don't know. Right now I'm in a completely untreated room, an AC unit is on. Not an optimal situation for recording audio. So this is kind of a worst case situation, a bigger room with a lot of reverberation. And I do want to mention that when this microphone is plugged into your camera and you turn your camera on, this microphone will turn on. The auto on off with microphones like this is necessary in my mind because I forget to turn them off every single time. Every time. But right now I have the Wavo Pro plugged into the Sony ZV-E1, and this camera is supposed to have one of the better microphones built in. So let's go ahead and give it a shot versus the Joby, see how it sounds. Like I said, right now I'm about 3 feet away from the microphone. And now here's the sound of the Sony ZV-E1 built-in microphone. I had the Joby Wavo Pro with the plus 20 dB boost on, and I had the preamp in the Sony set to 1. Now I have the preamp in the Sony set to 20 to get the same level. But here's how this sounds 3 feet away in an untreated room. Now I'm about 8 feet away from the microphone. This is the Sony ZV-E1. Let's see how that does. And now I'm about 8 feet away, and here is the Joby Wavo Pro. Once again, this is a very bad sounding room. AC unit is on. And as I get closer to this microphone, you can tell that the audio is going to get substantially better. And now the test that should be everyone's favorite, I know it's my favorite test, the kitty purr test. To stick with a similar theme, let's go ahead and move on to a sound effects / Foley test. Okay, do I want a latte with oat milk? No. Maybe a Americano? No. Screw it. Now we're going to jump into some quick comparisons between the Joby Wavo Pro and a bunch of other microphones. The first one up is the Røde VideoMic Pro Plus. Both of these are in their plus 20 decibel mode. Each of the microphones that are on-camera shotgun microphones that are using 3.5mm cables are going to be going into Zoom H1s, just so it's completely fair. And then the XLR microphones that I am going to compare to this are just going to be going into a Zoom H5. So every microphone in this comparison is going to be 18 inches away. I did measure them. I measure every single one of them. Completely fair. But while I explain this comparison, what you've been listening to is me going back and forth between the Joby and the Røde VideoMic Pro Plus. Since the Pro Plus does have an option for a presence boost, I'm going to enable that, and then I'm also going to enable a presence boost in the actual app for the Joby Wavo Pro. So now you're listening to the presence boost mode on the Pro Plus versus the Joby Wavo Pro with a 4 decibel presence boost in the Wavo Pro app. Now we have the Saramonic VMIC5 Pro versus the Joby Wavo Pro. The Saramonic is definitely more of a clone to the Pro Plus than the Wavo Pro is. But unlike what Joby did and made a smaller, lower profile microphone, Saramonic was like, screw it, dude, let's just make it as big as possible. But once again, I've been switching back and forth. The VMIC5 Pro I think goes for about $200, where the Joby is $300. Like the Pro Plus, the VMIC5 Pro does have a presence boost, so we'll do that quick presence boost comparison. Now you're listening to a presence boost on the Saramonic as well as the Joby. Does it make a difference? Does it sound great? Now we have yet another on-camera shotgun microphone, the Shure LensHopper VP83F. I think I nailed that. I'm only going to say that once. Now I'm just going to refer to it as the Shure. The Shure does have some cool things to offer. Just to briefly go over it, it does have a micro SD card slot that you can put in, record directly to that. You don't even need to plug it into anything. It has like a little screen on the back where you can control the headphone volume, the gain. And if you don't mind using the app, you can change your gain very specifically with the Joby in that app. There are a bunch of other features about the Shure that are really cool. Definitely look into it if you are thinking about getting the Joby Wavo Pro. Kind of compare the features and what would work for you. Now we have what might be the most difficult competition for the Joby Wavo Pro. This is the Røde VideoMic NTG. And the reason that I say that is that these two microphones actually have a lot of similarities. Both have USB-C control, you can plug them into a computer. Both have onboard DSP, and with the Rode Connect control of the Røde NTG, you do have a little bit more DSP options when it comes to like a compressor, the oral exciter, and big bottom, but you also do have a gain dial, which is fantastic to have. Now both microphones have their presence boost enabled. You can enable the presence boost on the Rode microphone, whereas you can't do that really with the Joby. You can change it in the app and leave it that way, but there's not really a way to change it on the microphone. Now we have the Audio-Technica AT875R against the Joby Wavo Pro. The Audio-Technica is somewhat of a sleeper when it comes to on-camera shotgun microphones, and you might be like, hey, I think it's just a shotgun microphone, buddy. But here's the thing. This microphone does not always require 48 volts of phantom power. You can actually use an XLR to 3.5mm cable right into your camera, and this microphone will work. So it is really cool that you can use it going into a recorder or an interface as well as your camera. However, it isn't going to have as good of noise performance since it is going to rely solely on your camera's preamp, whereas the Joby can kind of drive itself to a certain degree and then you can make up for it in the camera. But probably the coolest part about this microphone, it is essentially half the price of the Joby Wavo Pro. It comes in at $169. So you kind of have to ask yourself, is it worth it to have the features for essentially double the price, or a microphone that's half the price that you could get an interface for around $100 and have an interface and an XLR microphone for still less than the Joby itself? It comes down to use case, obviously. If you're in a studio situation like this, maybe lean the Audio-Technica way. If you're running and gunning, you need that decibel boost to kind of get rid of the noisy camera preamps, then maybe the Joby or a microphone like that would be better. Now we have an XLR small diaphragm condenser microphone. This is the Oktava MK-012-01. It's the hypercardioid version of this microphone. This mic goes for about the same price as the NTG, goes for $249. So if you were to get this in some sort of interface, you could get it close to around $300. So these are somewhat comparable. I mean, yeah, you don't get all the features like you would with the Joby, but just to be as fair as possible and show off some of the Joby versatility, here is the male voice enabled versus the Oktava MK-012-01. That is quite the name. Now this one is mostly just for fun. This microphone, the Sennheiser MKH50, is substantially more expensive than the Joby Wavo Pro. This microphone costs $1,200 versus the $300 of the Joby. But the MKH50 is a very popular microphone with YouTubers right now. It's growing popularity. I would say the MKH416 is a little more known. But the MKH50, absolutely fantastic microphone. I'm just curious how the Joby would really stack up versus a microphone of this caliber. Now I have the male voice EQ enabled for the Joby versus the Sennheiser MKH50. Here's just a real quick head-to-head comparison. Now you can't really see this microphone over here, but speaking of the Sennheiser MKH416, here it is, versus the Joby Wavo Pro. So we have a $1,000 shotgun microphone versus a $300 on-camera shotgun microphone. Once again, this is just kind of to see the audio quality that comes out of the Joby and if it can compare to something of this caliber. And now I do have that male voice EQ enabled for the Joby versus the Sennheiser MKH416. I believe this is the last microphone in these comparisons, so now we'll jump to my review. Now when it comes to my opinion of the Joby Wavo Pro, I think it's a solid product with some cool features. And speaking of that product, I actually do have it boomed overhead right now out of the camera shot. But as I was saying, the features that this offers, I think are quite desirable. Having Bluetooth compatibility and at least the ability to boost the gain from the microphone is really nice. The DSP on board is really cool, especially with that advanced EQ option. It would be really cool if, like the Røde NTG, it came with the EQ options, but also a compressor limiter and even a noise gate. Those are some things that are missing that you can get with the cheaper NTG. The active noise reduction is fine. It works okay, I guess. But in spite of it working, it is still killing the tone of the microphone to a degree. That's another thing that I did notice with active noise reduction is that it did add a little hum to the signal. Now to talk a little bit about what comes with this and the build quality, I do think it is good, and I feel like the build quality is on par with the other microphones that are right around this price point. Now the only problem that I have with anything that comes with this is the cable. I absolutely hate these straight cables, rather than them giving you like the right angle cables like this. This is so much nicer when you're plugging it into a camera like I am right now. I'm currently using a cable like this, and it stays out of the way of the screen so I can check my frame and everything. This, it's going to be in the way of any camera that has like a flip screen. And this is just less convenient in general. It's silly. I don't like it. I just pulled a bandrew and threw something. Well, I flicked it, but you know. My recommendation, if you fall in love with the Wavo Pro, just buy a new cable when you buy this microphone. There are plenty on B&H and Amazon for pretty inexpensive. I'll leave some links down below of some good deals. Now to touch on the sound of this microphone, it's kind of difficult to really say that I don't like the sound of this microphone, since I can go into this app and specify what frequencies I want to boost and dip and have it all right here built in. It makes me somewhat responsible for the sound of it. I just enabled some EQ right now from this app. It's super easy. The Bluetooth always connects up to it. It's really reliable. It's really great that way. I even thought the default sound of this microphone was on par or better than pretty much all of the on-camera shotgun microphones I compared it to. The XLR microphones is a different story. I liked those more. But if you are a vlogger or a YouTuber that insists on having an on-camera shotgun microphone like the Joby, it's going to be hard to beat this one. I do think the NTG gives it a run for its money, especially for being $50 cheaper and having a gain dial, but it's all just going to come down to what you like and the features you prefer. But I do think there is one very big deal breaker for a certain kind of person when it comes to this microphone. If you hate the idea of connecting this microphone to Bluetooth, opening the app so you can change the gain, turn on the active noise reduction, turn the active noise reduction off, enable EQ, split the tracks, any of these things that you have to do exclusively in the app, if that turns you off, do not get this microphone. I know several friends of mine that would never buy this microphone in a million years because they have to connect it up to an app to change the settings. I know that doesn't sound like a big deal to some people, but some people absolutely despise that. And the more and more that I test products, the more I'm kind of becoming that way. I just want stuff to work and sound good out of the box. But I understand that sometimes you gotta, put in a little bit of work, and I'm fine with that. But I think in the case where I would prefer an XLR microphone anyway, this microphone's not necessarily for me, but it doesn't mean it's bad. But like I've shown in this video, there are quite a few competitors out there. Do your research and find which one works for you. But overall, I do like this product. I think at $300, it's a little difficult to really, really highly recommend it, since like I mentioned, there are a lot of competitors out there for even less money. But I do think this microphone has some really cool features that could probably take it to the next level for some people with the advanced EQ and everything. As of recording this video, where I would like for this microphone to sit in the market as far as price goes is between $200 and $230. If you could get this microphone for $220, that'd be a really good deal. Since you can get the Audio-Technica AT875R plus an audio interface for essentially less money than this microphone, I think that really kills the value here. But I don't want to knock this too much because I really do think this is a good product and they put some cool features into it and really thought it out. And I think that it works better than I expected. So on the BBSAR, I'm going to give this a 7. Thank you for watching this video. A big thank you to everyone that subscribes to the Audio Hotline. You are awesome. Yet another thank you to Joby for sending me the Wavo Pro to try out. And the biggest thank you to all my incredible, amazing, selfless members out there. You are all fantastic people. I hope you're having an amazing day. I'll see you audio nerds next time.